Welcome back, friends. I trust you had a wonderful start to your new year. Today we're making something special. We've got a friend's birthday coming up. Happy birthday, Bobby. We're making cheesecake. So my buddy Bobby, every year for his birthday, he just asks people to bring cheese. And he said this year a cheesecake would be okay, it would qualify as cheese. So that's what we're doing. We're making a cheesecake today. So to start off, we're gonna work on making our crust. So I've got some graham crackers. I weighed them out and then I put them in a food processor and I blended them up until they're kind of super fine, almost like sand. You can also do this in a bag. You don't need to use a food processor if you don't have one. It just makes it really easy, and for me, it makes a more consistent product. So I've got some butter. This is almost a whole stick of butter. Probably not going to use all of it. I'm just going to do this, kind of mix it in until we get like a kind of a wet sand consistency. So I'm going to start off with a decent amount of it. I'm just going to stir and mix this in. It's going to take just a second. Okay, let's add a little bit more. I may end up using it all this time. It's really hard to pin down an exact amount of butter that's needed for this crust. It just really depends on how dry your graham crackers or biscuits or kind of whatever you're using for your crust. I'm essentially looking if I can press it up against the side of the bowl and it kind of holds its form. That's going to be good. Okay, I'm going to let that hang out for just a second. So I've got a springform pan here. It's kind of a requirement for this, but it needs to be lined. At least the bottom of it needs to be lined. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay. So now I'm just going to transfer all of this breadcrumb or graham cracker into this pan. I'm going to grab a little measuring cup to kind of help me here. I'm just going to take my hand, kind of distribute it around. We need to essentially build about an inch and a half layer around the outside. So I'm going to work around just so we don't have a thick corner. Just take my finger, work it around. I'm going to compact it. And I'm just kind of adjusting the height of it, trying to even it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. The beauty of home cooking. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So now this is going to go into the oven for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to pull it out. And while it's cooling, we'll go ahead and kind of put together our cheesecake. So here we go. She's just pretty. You can already start to smell some of that butter and graham cracker cooking. So this is going to sit over here for however long it takes us to kind of assemble the rest of these ingredients. I'm also at this time going to go ahead and drop down the oven temperature to, let's say, like 185, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Okay, so the ingredients for this cheesecake is, of course, cream cheese. Make sure you use full fat cream cheese. The lighter stuff is not going to work. We've got some Greek yogurt, which is also full fat, and we have some sugar and some cornstarch, and then we've got some egg. Okay, so we're going to go over a couple of things real quick, specifically around how to have a cheesecake that does not crack. So there's a couple of keys to it. One is cooking at a lower temperature for a little bit longer. One of them is making sure that all of your ingredients are as close to room temperature as that you can get them. And then the cornstarch, which is inside of the sugar, is going to act kind of like a stabilizer, and that will also really increase your chances of success. And then the last one is to cool it as slowly as you can. So you can imagine we're about to introduce a lot of air into these ingredients, and so as it's cooking, the air will expand. And if you allow it to quickly contract, that's one of the main causes of cracking. So if you can cool it as slowly as you can, you'll have a great success. And then also try to minimize the amount of air that you can get into it. So to start off, oh, we forgot a couple of ingredients. I've got some white chocolate over here on the stove on a double boiler. I'm gonna start off with a rubber spatula. And it's really just kind of breaking up the cheese. If you have a stand mixer, which we may have to use because I just broke this. No. Okay. Well, enjoy some cream cheese, and we're going to change to a stand mixer real quick. All right, we got our stand mixer out. I've got the paddle blade on it. And so if you're using a stand mixer, it's actually really easy to mix in too much air. So we've got to make sure that we don't do that. So make sure you leave it on the slowest kind of stir setting that you can. Backup spatula. Struggle bus continues. Go open. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix in my yogurt. We just want to mix this until that it is evenly distributed, kind of a smooth, silky kind of texture. Okay, we're almost there. We're going to try to do the rest of this by hand. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to leave the stand mixer over on the side just in case though. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with the sugar and the cornstarch. So I ran this through a sieve to make sure that there was no clumps in it. I have a kind of a backup one that will decorate so it doesn't take so long to make this video, but it has some clumps in it, and it was because some of this cornstarch clumped in it. Make sure you mix this well so you minimize clumps. Okay, let's just try not to break this spatula. So now we're gonna go in, we're gonna mix in 1 egg at a time. I like to crack them into a bowl before I add them just to make sure that nothing's wrong with the egg. And at this point, I'm going to change to a whisk. And so we're going to just kind of mix this until each egg is incorporated. And it will kind of loosen up as we add more eggs. Going with egg number 2. So our white chocolate is kind of cooled enough now. We want to add that into our mix. And again, we're just going to mix this until it all comes together. So now we're just going to pour this all in here. Okay, so now I'm going to take an offset spatula. You can use whatever you have. This just kind of makes it easier. I'm going to push it all out to the edges and flatten the top. No, it's just been a struggle in the kitchen today. I don't know what's up. Okay, so now this is going to go into the oven. We're going to bake it for about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. Starting around 50 minutes, we're going to start doing a little test on it. It's going to rise up a little bit. We're going to cook it just until the middle part is not set, so you still have a little wiggle in it. And at that point, we're going to turn the oven off and let it cook the rest of the way with the door ajar. So it'll finish setting, finish cooking, and it'll also cool that way. So that process is going to take a couple of hours. Okay, well, it's the next day. Just a wonderful day of recording. Just so many things happened, and I lost some of the footage. But I get to kind of show you kind of what happened to this cake. You can kind of see there's some pitting and stuff in here, and that's because of some of the air bubbles that we were talking about earlier kind of developed while it was cooking, and as it cooled, those air pockets were really, really big, and that's kind of what led to some of that cavitation. It's okay. We're actually going to make this cake look a whole lot better. So it's been in the refrigerator for 24 hours now, or at least overnight. So we're just going to add some white chocolate to the top of this, and then some of these raspberries. So I just got a little vegetable peeler. These little things are super delicate, so you want to do it onto the cake, or if you try to pick it up, they'll break on you. Okay, so I did this before I kind of transferred it to my serving dish because it's kind of messy. And the last one I needed a little help. There we go. Okay, now we got it moved over, we can add the raspberries to it, and I'm just going to do a little circular pattern so it matches the one I did yesterday. Voila! Such a better looking cake. You get to hide some of your perfections and stuff. So I'm not going to be able to cut into this one because this one's for the birthday boy, and I only have a bit of that tasting. I can say that it's super creamy. It sets well. That little trick with the oven and kind of baking it just until the center is still wobbly works like a charm. I guess I should say that this will store in the refrigerator for up to 5 days. So if you don't finish it in a couple of sittings like we tend to do, it'll be good up to 5 days. And you can also freeze this up to like a couple of months. So yeah, I'm just going to cut to the rest of that little bitty video. It appears all my cameras died. Okay, let's get a little bite. Man. Brings back so many memories. Growing up, we used to go skiing every year. We always had this place that we stopped in that made cheesecake. We'd always just order a whole cheesecake. Reminds me a lot of that. If you've had that cheesecake before, and you know if you would have, it's very similar to that. It doesn't have as much white chocolate in it, but it's still delicious. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by today. Thank you for sticking around this long on my struggle bus day of filming a cheesecake recipe. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Cool.